You don't need to be an expert in autism, ADHD, or even dyslexia to be a great leader. But if you're managing neurodivergent employees and hoping they'll just figure it out, you're already falling behind. Neurodivergent professionals are some of the most creative, focused, and loyal people on your team, but leading them well, that takes intention. Hi, I'm Summer Jelinek. I'm a keynote speaker and leadership trainer that was late diagnosed with autism and ADHD. I'm also a corporate survivor. I've worked for the Walt Disney Company, HEB, and even a dude ranch. And now I help neurodivergent professionals and their leaders thrive in a workplace that wasn't built for them. And today I'm sharing 3 things that every leader should do to support their neurodivergent team members and how to do those things in real life. Now, spoiler alert, your neurotypical individuals will appreciate this as well. Very first tip is to assume nothing and ask everything. A lot of neurodivergent employees won't tell you that they're struggling. Past experiences have taught us it's not safe to do so. So don't assume. Instead, ask questions like, how do you prefer to receive feedback? Is there anything that would help you feel more focused or supported? What kind of communication helps you do your best work? And one of my favorite that a lot of times we don't think about is when you've done a good job, how would you like me to tell you? Some individuals really want you to pull out the parade and the pixie dust and the confetti. Some just want to be given a pat on the back and told quietly that they have done a good job. Ask these questions. Now, when and where should you ask these questions? A couple of things comes to mind. The very first one, use one-on-ones to ask these questions in private. You want to be curious and not clinical. This isn't interrogation. This is simply you trying to understand how best to lead them. Now, if someone does open up, don't overreact. Normalize it. Have conversations about what it is that they're expecting from you. And pro tip, don't wait for a disclosure to make your team more accessible. Accessibility isn't reactive, it's proactive. If you're wanting some more questions that you can ask your team, head over to summerjelinek.com, scroll all the way to the bottom, and you'll be able to see 20 questions that every leader should be asking their employees. Now, tip 2 is to flex the environment, not the people. The default office setup, open floor plans, long meetings, constant Slack pings, it's optimized for neurotypical brains and it burns neurodivergent brains out really fast. Instead of expecting your team to just push through, give them control over their environment when it makes sense. So some examples of this. Allow headphones or noise-canceling tools. Offer flexible work hours if it's possible. Let people opt out of non-essential meetings and then document processes in writing. Don't rely only on verbal communication. Now, the thing about this is these changes help everyone, not just neurodivergent individuals. This is inclusive leadership in action. And tip 3 is to rethink how you give feedback. Now, the very first time I got feedback when I was a new manager at Walt Disney World, I'll never forget, my leader brought me in and he sat me down and he said, I'd like to offer you some feedback. Now, I was excited because I really, really wanted to do a good job. I was raised in a feedback inclusive household, so receiving feedback has never been an issue for me until that day. He says, so you're doing a really good job. We love what you're doing with the cast members and you're really connecting with the guests. We need you to pull back a little bit. Now, here's young me trying to figure it out. Okay, I'm happy to do that, but I'm not sure what that means. Now, by the end of this meeting, the only thing that I knew was that I was not performing in the way that he wanted me to perform, and I had no idea how to do that. And so what that told me was that this environment wasn't a safe environment for me. He wasn't able to articulate it. He wasn't getting what he needed from me. I wasn't getting what I needed from him. So when we think about feedback, traditional feedback, it's vague, it's indirect, and it's loaded with social cues. Now, that's a minefield for somebody who's neurodivergent. Now, if you're neurotypical, your version of polite might come across as confusing or even passive-aggressive to someone who's neurodivergent. So when you are giving feedback, the ways that you can do it is be direct, kind, and clear. Instead of something like, you might want to consider being a little more aggressive in meetings. Instead of something like, you might want to consider being a little more assertive in meetings, maybe you could try, when you have ideas, I'd really love for you to share them early. Your voice matters, and I want to hear them. Give feedback in writing when possible. It allows time for the individual to process. Ask the individual, how do you prefer receiving feedback? You'll be surprised what people share when you give them a safe space. As Brené Brown says, clear is kind, unclear is unkind. Now, if you want to go deeper in how to give feedback, there's going to be a link that'll be shared that will be to our feedback playlist. It has quite a few videos on specifically how do we enhance giving our feedback. But the important thing to remember is that if you want to retain top talent, especially those who think differently, we have to lead with flexibility and humanity. Neurodivergent employees, we don't need special treatment, but we do need intentional leadership, just like neurotypical employees as well. Now, if this video resonated with you, stick around. A new video focused on the neurospicy workplace will come out on every Monday. Until then, don't forget, you got this. I'll see you next week.